If you want to change the world, start off by making your bed. If you make your bed every morning, you will have accomplished the first task of the day. It will give you a small sense of pride, and it will encourage you to do another task, and another, and another. And by the end of the day, that one task completed will have turned into many tasks completed. Making your bed will also reinforce the fact that the little things in life matter. If you can't do the little things right, you'll never be able to do the big things right. And if by chance you have a miserable day, you will come home to a bed that is made, that you made. And a made bed gives you encouragement that tomorrow will be better.
Zack, besides
roof, hot water heater.
Roof, hot water heater.
No, it's the water softener.
Softener. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Softener, yeah.
ruptured and started spraying water all over the place.
Oh man, that's terrible. Yeah,
It'll be
that is.
2.5 weeks, 2 weeks before the water softener guy gets out here to fix it.
Oh wow.
Oh wow.
So we just turn the water off to it and
Yeah.
it's,
Just get the regular water now.
well, just we got regular water, but we've got double filters. You have to filter the water here.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
We call it a gravel filter.
Yeah, that's the.
Because if you don't, it shows up in the bottom of the toilet.
So I was going to read this headline to you guys when Paul came on, but I'll go ahead and break the news now. This is from the Jerusalem Post, and it says U.S. carries out strikes on Iran and the Strait of Hormuz in retaliation for Tehran targeting U.S. destroyers.
Yeah, I was reading about 3 destroyers that were pretty seriously attacked, but they repelled it all, and nobody's hurt, and no damage to the ships, but sounded pretty intense.
Yeah, so there was just a headline that I saw that we were attacking them again, and I wasn't sure it was true or not. But I guess
Well,
it is.
I thought we were told that we destroyed their Navy and we destroyed their Air Force and we destroyed their missiles capability. And so what are they still attacking us with?
They're still dragging stuff out of the caves, I guess.
I don't know.
They've
got all these little PT boats or something that.
Yeah, they have the little motorboats, which they're losing too now. So I wouldn't, if I were in a motorboat out on the Strait of Hormuz, I wouldn't want to have an Apache helicopter coming after me. That wouldn't be good. I don't know if they've ever had experience with Apache helicopters, but I wouldn't want one after me.
Can you imagine what fun those pilots are having?
Oh yeah, I know. Chain gun and Hellfire missiles. Oh wow.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, they love it. Yeah, they're
all their career to blow something up, and there it is.
There we go. So yeah, bring on the boats. Anyway, I guess we have answered the question of whether we're going to really retaliate or not. So they've broken the ceasefire and they're still choking them. So that's interesting. The second thing I was going to do was just ask everybody for their rant for the week. If they have a rant, we're probably not going to have a program next week because we're going to be out of town for a couple of days. But so we'll be back on May 21st and May 28th.
Okay.
And then we might maybe take a couple months off in the summertime. Let everybody R&R a little bit. So that's kind of the plan right now. But
Okay.
if you guys have a rant today, anything that's on your mind. Now, I saw a little bit of Arizona news for Ken and Zack. Judicial Watch, I guess, won their case against the Arizona Attorney General because she hid some evidence in her attempt to go after the people that believe the election was rigged. Like the Kelly
Oh,
Wards and Mike Ward and all that crew. I guess she
the
withheld a
11.
bunch of evidence, and she's in trouble for it. So I don't know if you guys heard anything about any of that.
I I heard very little about that. The big news right now in Arizona is that the Republican legislature sent the third budget to Governor Hobbs, and she vetoed it again. Um,
Okay. Does it still have the
and
tax breaks?
yes, it had.
Okay, good.
And she's in agreement with most of the tax breaks that came down from the federal level in the big beautiful bill last
Hmm.
summer. Um, she said in her State of the State address that she supported the middle class tax breaks from the big beautiful bill, but that she was against tax breaks for billionaires and corporations and data centers or whatever. I don't know what all, I think Arizona has 8 billionaires, so I don't know how she can single out um, the tax
Yeah.
code and how it applies to 8 specific individuals in Arizona. But
Sounds
um,
ludicrous, right?
yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
I think it's her way of saying that. I think one of the things that happened in the big beautiful bill is that the highest tax bracket, which was 37%, was reduced to 34.5. But that's not just for billionaires. That's for anything above $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 a year.
Right.
And there's a lot of people that make that kind of money in a household.
Yeah,
So,
sure.
her phrasing it as though Republicans are only looking out for billionaires, I think, is ridiculous. But
Yeah.
it's also ridiculous that Republican leadership in the legislature thought that they could pass a budget with only Republicans supporting it. It was supported by 32 of the 33 Republicans in the House and 16 of the 17 Republicans in the Senate, but there wasn't one Democrat in either the House or the Senate that voted for the budget. And if they thought that kind of a budget wasn't going to get vetoed, they've got to be
Dreaming.
dreaming. Yeah, because
Yeah.
I passed 5 budgets during my 4 years with Janet Napolitano when she was the governor, 03, 04, 5, and 6. And you're not going to get a budget signed by a Democrat governor unless you get a few Democrats voting for it in the legislature. So I don't know why the legislature thought they could pass a budget with only Republican votes and it wasn't going to get vetoed, and sure enough, it was.
There you go.
But there was some crap in there that I think Republicans have to be a little bit. For example, they, every other year, the Secretary of State's office gets a bump in their appropriation amount because it's an election year. Well, the 26-27 budget, which starts July 1st of 2026, includes the big midterm elections this November. Well, they reduced the Secretary of State's budget. I know he's a Democrat, and we got lots of problems with him and all that, but they reduced, based on what I've heard, they cut the Secretary of State's budget back to a non-election year level when he and the counties have to conduct the big midterm elections this November. So I don't know why Republicans are kind of sticking our stuff in the fan to, poke for a veto. I was Secretary of State for 6 years. You cannot run elections without some extra money on those those off year or those even numbered years to run the elections. State law says that the state has to reimburse the counties for the printing of all the ballots and things like that. So you have to appropriate more money on even years for those midterm elections or the big ones every 4 years. And I mean, this is a big one. It's got the governor, it's got all the statewide offices. It doesn't have a presidential year in 2026, but all of the statewide offices are up this year. So you cannot expect election officials around the state to run elections without giving them a little more money than in a non-election year. And that's exactly what they did. And so I'm sure that was one of the reasons it got vetoed, but there were many others, I'm sure, too.
So did you see any statements from Fontes because of that?
I did.
Other,
That's
yeah,
basically what he said. And it
yeah.
rang true with me as a former Secretary of State that
Mhm.
you cannot cut the Secretary of State's office that has to reimburse the counties for a bunch of things when they do statewide elections. You can't cut the Secretary of State's office back to non-election year levels and expect them and the counties to run an election.
Yeah. Makes sense. Yeah. So, Zach, do you have a rant, Zach?
Well, I don't really think that the governor needs a reason to veto a bill. He can just do it because she wants to.
That's true.
This one, this
You know,
particular
she
governor, right?
pretty much said she was going to do that before any of this hit her desk. So if you don't need a reason, you don't need a reason. And nothing is ever the way that it seems. We don't know what interactions going on that we don't know about. And that's going to lead into my rant.
All right. Good. What's your rant? Let's get it.
Water use in Arizona.
Water use.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. Okay.
Well, I understand that the governor is not approving a 6,000 unit development west northwest of Phoenix because the Central Arizona project cannot support it. But down here in the deep desert of Santa Cruz County in the mountains of Patagonia, they're fixing to, or they have approved a mining operation that is going to draw between estimated 6 to 8 million gallons of water a day from the groundwater.
Wow.
And they're expecting it to adversely affect the groundwater availability in a 20-mile radius of the well. Well, a 20-mile radius is 40 miles across.
Yep.
Groundwater, you remember that this particular mining operation is above 4,000 feet of elevation. So they're going to be taking the top of the groundwater, and water always seeks its own level. So as soon as they get to where they're not drawing any more water, they're just going to go deeper. And the deeper they go, the further they're going to deplete the groundwater availability. And it will exceed the 20-mile radius or the 40-mile expanse. We're not getting all of our water that's available does not come from runoff in the local area because it does not seep in. When water falls in the mountains, it runs off.
Yeah.
That's why the Santa Cruz River is either in full flood or bone dry. But 7 years ago, it nearly washed out the Santa Cruz River Bridge in South Tucson.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, it was right. Okay. It was on the bridge. Yeah. Yeah.
So we already have a water scarcity. I need to rephrase that. We have a limited water availability. It is going to become a scarcity.
Yeah. Does that area, Zach, do they get any water from the Central Arizona project? They don't, do
can't.
they?
It's uphill.
Yeah, I was going to say it's uphill, so they can't.
CAP, I think the CAP basically feeds Phoenix.
Yeah,
And Tucson.
and
And
Tucson,
Tucson.
and yeah, and
Well,
Serrata
yeah,
just
I
they
forget
ran
what
a
the
pipe.
calculation is.
Yeah,
But I don't
they
think
ran a
it gets
pipe.
down to Santa Cruz. I don't think it gets to
No,
Santa Cruz.
it gets to the Green Valley Water Company. They got a little bit of a portion a few years ago, but not past that. So
And
yeah,
well, as you know, Lake Mead is going to be is predicted to be virtually dry pretty soon.
yeah. I see some.
Already, you can see if you just look. It's amazing how much water's gone.
Yeah,
Well, can you
Salt
imagine?
Lake. Salt Lake is Great Salt Lake is drying up too. They're trying to figure out what to do about that.
Well, here's the thing: groundwater. Where does the groundwater in Arizona come from? We don't know. I mean,
Yeah,
in Santa Cruz County, we don't know.
right.
Okay, if it becomes unavailable to the mine, then it will become unavailable to everybody that depends on the groundwater.
Yeah.
Sure.
Because
Yeah.
once you give them authorization to use the groundwater, their use has no limit.
Does that 40 miles extend out to Rio Rico, Zach?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now remember, this is air miles.
Yeah. Right. Way the crow flies.
Yeah,
Right.
and Rio Rico actually goes to the Nogales Airport.
Mm.
Okay. So it may take you 20 miles to get to the mine in its where it is, but air mile distance, it's only about 4.
What are they going to mine there? Are they going to mine copper or
They're after
something
the
else?
silver is what they're after.
Silver. Okay.
Yeah. They're not
But
saying that, but I've known since I got here that that part of the mountains was rich in silver because it's on the surface.
how about rare earths? Are there any rare earths there?
Yeah, there's 3 or 4 rare earths there. I'm trying to
Yeah.
forget. Uh,
Yeah. They usually get some out of every mine,
yeah,
and maybe
I
a little
think
bit of gold too.
the big thing there, and they're not talking about
Mm.
silver until we kind of made them.
What are you going to mine? Well,
But did you in all of your testing? Did you locate any silver? Well, no, there's about yeah. Well, we
who's the
knew
co- who's the company, Zach?
South 32 out of South Africa.
Oh, South Africa.
They're
Interesting.
notoriously bad stewards of the land.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if there's enough money involved, they can influence decisions.
Well, you guys heard this week. You heard about the two of the biggest, if not the biggest, meat packers in the country are owned by
I did
Brazil.
not hear. Brazil?
Brazil. Yeah, there's four meat packers in the country. One of them's Tyson. I can't remember the name of the other one, but two of them are owned by Brazil, and so they're going they're going hard after them now
Monopoly.
for monopoly. Yeah, because they're fixing prices and stuff. So the ranchers are fed up, and the Justice Department's in tune with them, and have been doing months of research now since before Christmas, and they're going after them now. So, but Brazil is not who you want to own half of your meat packing capacity. So that's not good. So what's going to happen next down there, Zach? Protest? Are you protesting?
We're working within the system.
Yeah, good.
It's obvious the decision was made long ago.
Yeah,
We're just going through the motions of trying to. Essentially, what we're telling them is the water's not there.
yeah,
So if you deplete the water to the extent that you're talking about, they're talking about reintroducing the water that they use that's runoff from the process back into
Yeah.
the groundwater.
Yeah.
What's that going to do?
Pollute it.
It's going to silt in the aquifer.
Sure.
Plus, you're going to have water evaporation between the time it's used and returned.
Yeah.
And there's no gain because evaporation goes into the atmosphere.
And you guys don't have a close ocean where you could build a desalination plant either, right?
No.
They're talking about that down in Corpus Christi. I saw a program last night. Corpus Christi has got a real water problem, and the city's on the verge of deciding to build a desalination plant.
I remember when I first went to Texas that they had signs at every municipality: public water system not approved.
Mm.
Public water system approved. So either the state approves the water system for human consumption, or it didn't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's been a problem in Texas at least since the 1950s, 60s that I know about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And it's salinization is the main problem there. Same thing with Florida. If it wasn't for the limestone aquifer in Florida being floating, the saltwater intrusion would have already gotten into the water system in Florida.
Right. Yeah.
So it's not just an Arizona problem.
Oh, no.
But you've heard the system, we'll cut off your water. Well, you know what that means. It means you got no water. That's one of the basic elements that you have to have.
Yeah, that's right.
Good water, shelter.
Yeah, and we got.
Well, I'm becoming more and more convinced that we've got to do something on a grand scale that will make CAP, the Central Arizona Project, look like peanuts. And what I mean is that the Western United States are going to have to do something. And I was fascinated. I ran across a documentary on YouTube, I think it was, about a project that was considered 60 or 70 years ago called NAWAPA, NAWAPA, North American Water and Power Association. And it was from a very successful businessman who, I can't even think of his name. It's not, Rockefeller or Morgan or somebody, but apparently he had been very successful. But the idea was to bring together some needs for the three countries, Canada, United States, and Mexico, and basically transfer some of the excess water up in Western Canada to Central and Eastern Canada, where their population base is, the Torontos and the Quebecs and the whatever, because they need water over there, transfer it into the Western United States, and then have some excess that ends up in Northern Mexico. And here's kind of an interesting tidbit. There's two river systems up in the northwest United States and southwest Canada. And I think they're the Columbia and the Itasca rivers. But those two river systems alone have 150 million acre feet of excess water that basically flows out to the Pacific every year, just flows into the ocean. 150 million acre feet. The idea was to take about 10% of that excess, about 15 million acre feet. And this is not water that anybody's using. You're not taking water away from Southwest Canada or Northwest America, but just take some portion of the excess water and get it into a series of pipelines or canals that basically would end up in the Western United States in the Colorado River Basin. Now,
Mhm.
think about 150 million acre feet of excess water.
Yeah.
The entire Colorado River Basin system is based on allocating 12 million acre feet.
Wow.
About half of it to the upper basin states and the
Mhm.
other half to the lower basin states.
Right.
It's about a third and two thirds. But
And
anyway,
some to Mexico, right?
and some to northern Mexico. Yeah.
Mhm.
1.5 million acre feet to northern Mexico. But the whole system is based on a paper allocation of 12 million. Even if you just got 5% of the unused excess water up in those two river systems up in the northwest,
Mm.
if you could just get 5% of the excess water, that's 7.5 million acre feet. If you could add 7.5 million acre feet to the Colorado River system,
That'd be 25% bigger, right?
more 7.5 out of 12.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. It'd
and
be, yeah,
we're
30%.
now it's now proving out that on paper they thought that the Colorado River system would produce 12 million acre feet a year, but it's only producing less than 10 in some of these dry years. And
Mhm.
so if you were adding 7.5 to 10, you'd be doing something pretty significant.
Yeah.
And
Are there,
there's a place where you could, if you could collect and transfer the water only about 40 or to 50 miles over one little hill side, instead of it draining out into the Pacific, it would drain into the Colorado.
yeah.
So, as you mentioned, Don, you've got Utah talking about wanting to refill and reestablish the Great Salt Lake.
Mhm.
But somebody's going to have to get serious in a multi-state idea
Yeah.
to do something like this Nawapa project from 60, 70 years ago and really solve some problems. The other idea is there's excess water in the Mississippi River Basin, but
Right.
transferring it from the eastern U.S. to these western states
Like
is
going uphill is a little hard.
even more cost prohibitive.
Yeah.
But if you could come from Southwest Canada and get some water, some excess water, nothing that they're already using, but if you could get a small percentage, 5% of their excess water
Mhm.
over into the Colorado Basin, we would solve so many problems. It's
Yeah.
not
So
funny.
doesn't that area of the country, that southwest part of Canada, like you said, don't they already isn't there already water from there going down to California?
I'm not aware of any.
I'll have to check
California
on
has
that
California has the largest allocation of
with
the
the Colorado River.
CAP project.
Yeah.
I think California has about 4.4 million acre feet a year. Arizona has about 2.5. Nevada only has 400,000
Wow.
acre feet. And then northern Mexico gets about 1.5 million acre feet. So California is the big dog between California, Arizona, Nevada, and northern Mexico. But and then the other idea is, do we come together, or maybe Arizona builds some desal plants for California and trade some of their 4.5 million acre feet out of the Colorado, and we get some of that. But because Arizona had such small population when Carl Hayden and the folks got the CAP approved, we are the last of the four. Arizona loses its entire CAP allocation before California has to give up 1 gallon.
All right. Yeah,
So,
I think I've heard that story. And
so
doesn't
people are going
Mexico
to have to
also have
start
priority?
thinking bigger. People are
Oh,
going to have to
yeah.
start thinking big solutions here.
Yeah,
Or
you're right. And get
the
together,
southern,
right? Have
yeah,
to be multi-state. It'll have to be multi-state driven too, because it's going to take a lot of money.
yeah,
But they could do it. I mean,
sure.
it's possible, right?
Well, there's lots of things that we use in Arizona that we don't produce in Arizona. We don't have a drop of oil in Arizona. All of the petroleum, gasoline and diesel fuel that we use in Arizona comes from California or Texas. So we've got pipelines moving petroleum products around. It's time we move some water around. And then the opposite happens. The U.S. lives off of lettuce that's grown in Yuma during the winter. Most of the United States is living off of stuff from Arizona. So, we're sending stuff other places, and we're bringing other things into Arizona. And water's going to have to start to get on that list of regional solutions.
How about the Columbia River? Does a lot of Columbia River water go into the ocean?
Yes.
I mean, that would be a source too. That's a pretty good sized river. I've driven up along the Columbia. It's
I think
a lot of water.
I think the two big ones are the Columbia and the Itasca rivers.
Yeah.
Now you got to be careful that if you divert, 5% of the water, you got to be careful with the environmentalists and the tribes. But we need to get everybody together and start talking about some solutions, because just doing what we're doing and dealing with the issues that Zack is bringing up is not
that's right
going to work long term.
So let me ask you this: Are there any reservoirs around that area, Zack? Patagonia and all up in Sonoyta and all that. Are there reservoirs up there?
Patagonia Lake is just it catches Sonoyta Creek.
Yeah.
And
is that officially a reservoir, or is it just a natural lake?
I think it was built for recreation.
Oh, okay.
As far as I know, it's not used for local use. There is livestock grazing on the east side of it. Okay. All of the houses in the area around it are confined to septic. I don't know how that would affect the potability of the lake water.
Yeah. Is there, Ken, are there reservoirs around Prescott and Flagstaff?
A little bit. We have two lakes in the Prescott area, Watson and Willow Lakes. One of them is primarily owned by the agricultural district north of Prescott, out in the Chino Valley area, where they used to grow a lot of corn and some agriculture and things like that. And then Prescott has kind of acquired the other one, but uses it primarily to pump water out north of town and inject it back into the underground aquifers, like Zack was talking about. So we do some injection. Arizona's been doing water recharge projects. 10, 15 years ago, when Arizona was not using all of its 2.5 million acre feet allocation from the Central Arizona Project, we were injecting almost 1 million acre feet back into the aquifers underneath Phoenix, primarily in the western of there, Harquahala Valley and some of those other places. But so it was called the Arizona Water Banking Authority. I was on it during my first couple of years in the state Senate. So Arizona's been doing some water banking for a long time, but now that the rivers are as low as they are, and as you noted, they're saying that it could be as early as this December that Lake Powell gets so low that it can no longer run the electric generators to supply electric power that it was primarily built for in the first place. So with the Colorado River system so low, I don't think Arizona's been doing much water banking for the last couple of years. And I saw an article the other day that Nevada, Arizona, and Colorado had agreed to reduce a couple million acre feet of use out of the river, which is pretty significant. 2 out of 12 or 2 out of 10's not nothing.
Yeah.
So that they can hopefully keep Powell and Meade above those critical levels, because they're getting, I think one's at 37% and another one's at 31%.
Yeah. And there was a little bit of optimism about Lake Mead just a few months ago, early in the winter. It had cut, it had gotten quite some water back. Not so they were a little optimistic, but I guess it's probably short-lived, going back
Yeah,
down
because
again.
the snowpack up in Utah has not occurred this year. Now Colorado's doing better. Colorado's just had snow the other day,
I know.
3 feet of snow.
Sunday. That's pretty unusual. Well, not for
Yeah.
the mountains. It can snow on Pikes Peak in the middle of summer, but
Okay.
normally, yeah, this Colorado Springs got snow and where my kids are, so yeah, that's unusual in May, but
Yeah.
yeah, they welcome it.
Well,
Colorado
Colorado,
Springs,
yeah.
Colorado Springs has reservoirs up on Pikes Peak.
Oh,
They have 3 reservoirs up there, and that's where they get their water, city-owned water. So,
Colorado got more snow in the last week than Utah got in the last year.
wow, that must have really hurt the ski resorts, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Wow. So I didn't realize that. How about your rainfall in northern Arizona? Is it pretty normal, or has it been
It's
low?
been pretty normal, I think.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't have as much during the winter. We only had a couple snows. We usually have 3 or 4, but we had some rain when we would normally have snow, and we had one good month. I can't remember what it was, January or something, but
Well, Florida
it's
right now, Central Florida, we're down 32 inches of rain.
wow, that's a lot.
Yeah. So they're saying a couple of good hurricanes will straighten that out, right? So,
Well,
so
no,
sometimes the solution is not too good.
The cure is worse than the disease, huh?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah, we're way down Central Florida and Southern Florida, and the Panhandle normally doesn't get as much rain as we do anyway. So, but they are down a little bit too. So yeah, we all got our fingers crossed. We start rainy season here in about 2 weeks, right, Zach? You know when the rainy season starts down here.
but I remember hurricanes have their own set of problems.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah,
the main problem with hurricanes is the storm surge.
yeah. That's it. Yeah,
My grandfather said that if a big hurricane ever came around the Gulf of America and hit Tampa head on, that it was going to be catastrophic.
yeah. I think it will be.
And it was.
Yeah, they've escaped hurricanes for
Well, why did they all of a sudden have one?
I don't know. Yeah.
You ever hear of something called geoengineering?
Yeah, I was going to ask you guys about how you guys think about that and if that's
I
a
think that has something to do with Lake Mead and our water problem.
real deal.
I do.
Yeah. I just
And
don't know.
all,
I don't know what to think about all that because I was in the Air Force and had a lot of commands and talked to a lot of people and if they're actually doing geoengineering, the Air Force wasn't involved in it and not involved in it. Um,
Who else
but I
would be
don't.
doing it if it wasn't the Air Force?
Well, I don't know. That's what I
DARPA
say. Could be companies.
companies
Could
doing
could be NASA.
research for the military.
NASA's got some planes and things that could do it, but I don't know. Some guy put well, people are always putting the contrails up on social media, and when they do, I put up the contrails from the B-17s in World War II over Germany. My comment is, what were these guys doing with piston engines? They weren't spraying Germany with anything, right?
Well, the contrail goes away.
Yeah, yeah. Eventually, it does. Yeah,
When they're spraying the
yeah.
metallic substances, they don't.
They they're convinced. A lot of people convinced that Estes Park flood back in the 70s was, they call it what they call it,
Well, I
rain
remember cloud
rain
seeding.
cloud or seeding the clouds, seeding the
Rain
clouds. Yeah,
seeding,
yeah,
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 cloud seeding.
yeah. Yeah, that was a horrible flood. Killed a bunch of people. So came out of Estes Park and down the Platte River.
I
Yeah.
think there's
So
something. I think there's something to it.
yeah. Well, there are a lot of there are a lot of farmers that have had mineral examinations of their soil, and they think it's all provable. So now, what's his name? Who I have a lot of faith in, the guy that's head of the EPA now, was a guy was a congressman from New York who
Zeldin.
just who just gave a lot of Democrats heartburn this last week. He uh, he says that's not happening from the U.S. government. So
And I remember when I was in South America, we were doing radioactive particle capture
mhm,
off the coast of Brazil, sitting on the equator. And we were picking up particles that were released west of Hawaii.
mm,
So they were doing
wow,
winds aloft studies back then and weather studies back then.
yeah,
There was 4 countries involved in that one. Germany was the main one we worked with.
yeah. Yeah, and that's unusual because the storms in the Pacific move from east to west, right?
Yeah, but these were winds aloft.
Yeah,
That was based on tracking, not on what was established at the time.
yeah,
So apparently, stuff goes up and stuff goes down.
yeah.
It's more of a wave than it is a linear dispersal.
Haven't they declared this year as an El Nino year? Have you guys
Oh yeah,
heard?
oh yeah, yeah.
So that
Serious.
doesn't that mean Arizona's going to get more rain?
It means
No.
it means we're going to have El Nino. It doesn't mean it doesn't mean where.
Well, a few years ago when I was working in Salt Lake City and I flew down to California, they had a lot of flooding in southern Arizona, particularly Tucson. It was an El Nino year, and a lot of Tucson was underwater, especially East Tucson. So I think that's the last time that they saw that kind of flooding, where the roads, speedway out east of town, all the way out to the ranch out there was all flooded.
Mount
And
Lemon Highway. Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
that's the whole thing. The more the elevation, the faster the water runs off, and
hmm,
it collects at the lowest elevation.
yeah,
That's why you get flooding, because all the towns in Arizona are built in the valleys.
hmm, yeah. And all the roads are built in the crevices, right?
Seems that
That's something I could never understood in Tucson. I lived there for 10 years, and they had all those roads going through the riverbeds. And I said, well, why wouldn't you just, on the main thoroughfares, why wouldn't you just put a bridge there and let it go under it?
Don,
And not,
they still in the underpasses, they have yellow posts
yeah,
with
I
foot
know,
markers on them to tell
right?
you how deep the water is if you decide to drive down that
Yeah.
ramp. And they go
Yeah. And
all the way up 10 feet.
oh, yeah, Harrison Road, they have 10-foot markers on Harrison Road out west of Tucson, right? You go out right through the riverbed there and the big washout there. And yeah, they have markers there that shows you. And when I was in Alaska, you know what that was? They had markers for snow that were 12 feet
Yeah.
and along the highways so that when the wind blew, you stayed between the poles because you couldn't see the road,
Mhm.
right? But snow is another big problem. So So how was the snowpack in Arizona, Ken? Was it better this year or
No, it's terrible.
was it terrible? Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's they call it? Flagstaff skiing didn't open this year.
No,
Did they ski for a
they
while?
had a short burst of some snow
Mm.
and actually got to open earlier last November
Oh,
than they
yeah.
typically
Okay.
do.
Snow
But
Bowl, right?
yeah, the Snow Bowl. But
Mm.
I see the Snow Bowl right out my front window.
Oh, wow.
I'm on the crest of a little hill here in Prescott, and
Yeah.
I can look out my front porch and see the San Francisco
And
peaks, and there's not a drop of whiteness on them right now.
not
Usually,
a
usually the
not a
whiteness,
snow.
no. So
Wow. Yeah, you're right. The Western states need to get together instead of fighting about their allocations they currently have
yeah,
and they need to think bigger. They need to start thinking out of the box ways that they can get water that's being wasted, like you said, that's flowing out to the oceans. Find some way to capture that. California should build
and not
4 or
all of it.
5.
We don't. Yeah,
Right, not all of it.
we don't need all of it. Like I say,
Right. Just
two rivers alone, 150 million acre feet
yeah.
of excess
Yeah.
water. If
Yeah.
we had 5% of that,
Right.
it would almost double what we're fighting over in the whole Colorado
Yeah.
River basin between 7 states and northern Mexico.
And there's probably farmers and fishermen, et cetera, that will probably argue with you in Oregon and Washington that
Sure.
they need all that water, right?
Well, yeah,
It doesn't go
yeah.
in the ocean. We need it, and obviously
No,
it is going in
no.
the ocean. So the riverbed
Well,
isn't dry at the
maybe
ocean. So,
maybe if they want some computer chips from the
yeah, there you go.
Taiwan semiconductor plant here and Intel in Arizona, and if they want some lettuce in the winter,
Water.
maybe we need to do some little trading here.
A little economic deal there. Yeah, that's one way to look at it. So
If you want lettuce in the winter from Arizona, we need
Yeah.
some water in the summer.
And I did see the other day, what was it, 2 days ago or yesterday? It was 109 in Yuma.
Was it already?
Yeah. And I
I'm
don't,
trying to visualize how much infrastructure would be required to move that much water. Now, I know the Columbia River originates in Canada.
yeah.
There's a
But
problem
that's-
there.
Yeah, but that's one of the beauties of what I was reading about, Zach, and that is that if you could build a reservoir to temporarily hold some of that 150 million acre feet, and you just diverted 5% of it over a little mountain about 40 miles, then it drains into the Colorado Basin naturally.
But if they can build a tunnel that runs underground for 1,500 miles, they can certainly find a way, if they're going to pipe it
Yeah.
or divert the water,
Sure.
do it underground.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I have no doubt we could do it. Right.
Well, and this documentary I was watching about this Nawapa, it involved an underground tunnel from up near Washington that exited down by Las Vegas.
So it's NAWAPA.
Yes, Nawapa.
I have to look it up. Yeah. 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 I'm sure they could find a way to do it. I don't have any doubt engineering wise we could do it. Wouldn't be easy. It wouldn't be cheap.
No, but
but it could be done.
half of what we do as humans is move natural resources from where they are to where we need them somewhere else.
Yeah. It's always been the case. Yeah.
Railroads, dams, the whole shipping industry, international. No one place has everything that it needs of everything.
That's right.
And so we move stuff around. Like I say,
Yeah.
Arizona supplies a third of the copper for the U.S. It supplies 60% of the lettuce. It supplies, on and on and on. There's stuff that we have in Arizona. We couldn't use it all if we needed to, so we supply the U.S. with lettuce. Go. In fact, I think our largest export in Arizona is water. We don't ship it out in water bottles. We ship it out in the leaves of lettuce and citrus and right.
Yeah. And if you think about it, if California would build some desalination plants for themselves, then they wouldn't need as much as that Colorado River water as they
or if we built them for them.
There you go.
Maybe we build a couple desal plants for California, and they give us 1 million acre feet of their 4 million acre feet, and we go from 2.5 to 3.5 and solve both states' problems.
There you go.
That's just something about that a couple of years ago over in the Somerton area.
Yeah.
These 2 desalination plants. It was for Arizona's use.
Well, that the Middle East is thriving on desalination plants, right? All over the Middle East. All those countries over there now have desalination plants. And
well, if you think about it, the amount of water on the earth is what it has always been.
Yeah.
We just move it around.
And it rains every day somewhere.
It rains somewhere. And, they just discovered a big freshwater underground reservoir under the Great Salt Lake.
Yeah.
That may be where the Great Salt Lake went.
That could be.
Big sinkhole. Well, think about Noah's the flood, and look how long it took for that water to recede, right?
Well,
to its current state. So,
the amount of water God put on the earth is still here.
Oh yeah, 2/3 of the earth is water, right? 2/3, isn't it? Isn't that what they estimate?
Well, the surface of the surface, but if you'll look, there's a visual that I saw. I think it was on Facebook, might have been somewhere else. But if the earth was a basketball, if you think of the earth as a basketball, how much water is there on the earth? It's about the size of an orange. And the amount of water that covers 2/3 of the earth is relatively, for example, oceans are 3, 4, 5 miles deep. Well, 3 or 4 or 5 miles sounds like a lot of water until you think that what's the diameter of the earth? 14,000 miles or something.
Yeah. Right.
So the earth looks like it's got a lot of water, but as far as the mass of water to the whole entire mass of the earth, it's still relatively small, but it is what it's always been. God put X amount of water here and we still have it.
Yeah. And we need to tap it, besides sailing on it and fishing it. We need to use some of it, I think. So anyway, a lot of good solutions there. Okay, guys, we have watered up to 727. And I don't think we solved your problem yet, Zach, but we covered a lot of other problems, right? Water-wise.
Situation that's going to affect a lot of people.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, I bet. Yeah. So, well, keep us abreast, and we will have a program in 2 weeks. 2 weeks from tonight, I'll send out a notice on the May 21st, and we thank you all for joining. We send our prayers to Jeff Ooch and his family, for sure, and we're sorry we missed Paul tonight. I thought he was going to be on, but he obviously had some kind of complication. So hopefully that's not any kind of emergency. But thanks for coming on, Zach. Thanks for coming on, Ken. It's good to see you again. How was your radio show this week? Go good?
Went pretty well.
Good.
Talked with one of our state legislators about the budget being vetoed.
Oh, good. Okay, great.
Whatever.
Yeah, very good. So, okay. So anyway, thank you for joining 4 Men in America. We're signing off for the night, and we will see you in 2 weeks. And God bless America. Thanks, everybody.
By the way, isn't today National Prayer Day?
Today is National Prayer Day, Zach. I'm glad you brought that up. We went to a program at our church at a 4:00 program today. So yeah, it was great praying for the country and our leadership and our president, and it was good. Good thing to do. So yeah.
And yesterday was National Nurses Day, and I have a nurse daughter. So
good.
We're thankful for nurses, and we got to keep God in our lives and in our country, or we're in deep trouble.
Yes, sir.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Okay. Pray, everybody. Pray for the country. Pray for yourselves. Pray for your families. And good night. God bless America again.
Now, wait a minute, Jack. This is a friendly celebration.
I don't much like the way you celebrate.